Hi friends, welcome back. We're solving quadratics by factoring today, trinomials with grouping. So let's take a look. First things first, when we see an x squared, in this case an n squared, in our problem, we want to make sure to clean it up. And what that means is we're probably going to want to set it equal to 0. So that means we're going to want to get everything on one side. So I'm going to minus 13n and minus 13n. So that gives me negative 3n squared minus 13n minus 4 equals 0. Okay, now remember what I said when we're factoring, you can't have a negative in the front here. So we're going to divide each of these by -1, which all it does is just change your signs. So as long as you change every sign, you're good to go. So now we have 3n squared plus 13n plus 4. Okay, we got to factor by grouping. So what we want to do is take 3 and 4 and multiply those together to get 12. All of our factors of 12, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Now, this tells me same signs. This tells me positive, positive. So I need a positive, positive that adds up to 13. We do positive 1 and positive 12, that'll add up to 13. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this positive 13n and we're going to expand it using 1 and 12. So we have 3n squared plus, and it doesn't matter if you put the 1 or the 12 first. Let's go ahead and put the 12 first. 12n plus 1n plus 4 equals 0. So all I did is take that middle term and expand it out. But now I'm able to factor by grouping. Notice I'm grouping the first two terms and then the last two terms, but that middle sign operation I'm leaving alone because I'm going to bring that down. Looking at the first here, it looks like I have a 3n I can factor out. That leaves me with n plus 4. Bring down my plus sign. And here, the only thing I can take out is a 1. And normally we don't take out a 1, but I think it's really helpful when we're doing this because you can see, okay, I've got a 1 there. That leaves me with n plus 4. Now, ask yourself if these two things are exactly the same. If they are, you have done this correctly. And your first term is this guy. So we have 3n plus 1, n plus 4 equals 0. I'm going to rewrite that over here so you can kind of see. Actually, I think we got enough room here. Okay, so now we can use our zero product property to say 3n plus 1 equals 0. If I minus 1 from both sides, I get 3n equals -1. Divide by 3, I get n equals -1/3. N equals -1/3. Over here, n plus 4 equals 0. Minus 4 from both sides, I get n equals -4. How many answers do I have? 2. How many should I have? We go back and we look at the one that we cleaned up. We have squared, so yep, we should have 2, or know why we don't. Okay, let's look at this next example here. Same idea, we want to get everything onto the same side. So I'm going to minus 7 from both sides. So now I have 2n squared minus 5n minus 7 equals 0. Okay, I'm going to take 2 and 7 and multiply those together to get 14. I get 1 times 14. So for 14, I get 1 times 14 and 2 times 7. This tells me different signs. So I need a positive and a negative that gives me -5. If I do positive 2 and -7, those add up to give me -5. So I have 2n squared plus 2n minus 7n minus 7 equals 0. Again, you'll see that I took this -5n and I expanded it out using positive 2n and -7n. So now that I have 4 terms, I'm ready to factor by grouping. So I'm going to group this guy and group this guy. In that first one, I can take out a 2n, and that leaves me with 2n plus 1. Bring down our sign. And in the second one, I can take out a 7, and that leaves me with, and a lot of kids do this, n minus 1, right? That should not be a 2 there. That should be n plus 1, n minus 1. Now, you ask yourselves, do these two things look exactly the same? They do not. Notice the signs are different. This is a common mistake. A lot of kids just bring down this negative sign right here. But if you do that, -7 times -1 would give you a +7, and I need a -7. So you got to fix your sign. I guarantee you, like 99% of the time, you just have to fix that sign. Now you ask yourself, are these two things exactly alike? They are, now that I got rid of that extra 2. Don't know what I was doing there. These are exactly alike, so we have factored this. Here's our first factor. We have 2n minus 7, and we have n plus 1 equals 0. Let's use our zero product property to say 2n minus 7 equals 0. If I add 7 to both sides, I get 2n equals 7, divided by 2, divided by 2, n equals 7 halves. There we go. Now over here, I have n plus 1 equals 0. So n plus 1 equals 0. If I minus 1 from both sides, I get n equals negative 1. So how many answers do I have? 2. And how many should I have from my cleaned up problem? 2. So I've done this correctly. Hopefully this helps.